Welcome to Epic Begins with One Step Forward. I'm your host, Zander Sprague, and I am so excited that you're joining me today. I wanted to start off with the thought of the day. Let's talk about your not yet list. You might know that for me, not yet is such a powerful 2 words that can really be your inspiration. Because think about it, there are things that we want to achieve in our life, be it write a book, run a marathon, get in shape, earn a degree. These are all not yets. When you first start in high school, if you're a freshman, people don't go, "Have you graduated yet?" Of course not. That's a not yet. So everything doesn't have to be right now. There are the not yets that take us time, and that is just fine. I've got a big list of not yets. And let me tell you that this TV show was on my not yet list, and now it's happening, and that is so great. You know, not yet helps keep the probability of success there. Even if there's something on your not yet list that you haven't done it yet, maybe you'll never get to it, at least you're leaving yourself open to the fact that it is possible. So start on your list today. Now, I wanted to give you an update about Carlo Tolamina, who was on the podcast. And, you know, he is doing high performance coaching for people. And he is really helping people to lean into what they want, do everything that they are capable of, even if at first they don't know that they can. So I say to Carlo, keep doing it and helping people with their not yet. Now, I am really excited to introduce Coach Paul Casey. Coach Paul, tell us who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. So first off, I'm so grateful to be on the show today. I'm Coach Paul, and I have come from a very rough background, and I've overcome a lot of trauma, a lot of struggles and obstacles in my life. I went from a broken home, mom was on drugs, dad was physically abusive, in and out of juvenile hall, boys' homes, homelessness, kicked out of school, and I ended up going to prison for 10 years. And while I was in prison, I completely transformed my life. I became utterly obsessed with fitness, and I decided I was going to help people use fitness to transform their lives as well.
Absolutely, and what an epic journey you've been on, and I do want to explore that. Let's start off with certainly going back. You said a challenging childhood.
Absolutely.
Adolescence. You found yourself for 10 years in prison. Let's talk about that for just a moment if we can, because even within there's transformation for you, epic choices that you made. But where were you in California State Prison? Were you at San Quentin? Were you at another prison?
Well, San Quentin was one of the prisons.
One of the prisons.
It's famous, right? Everyone knows San Quentin. I bounced around.
Okay.
Right? So I initially, started off in San Quentin.
Yep.
Right? And then, they have what's called a reception center. So once you get sentenced to your time, you go to the reception center with San Quentin. And then they kind of figure out where they want to house you.
Got it.
And I got sent all the way up to Susanville, which is about an hour across the border from Reno.
Okay.
Right? Here in California side, it's up in the desert. I spent about 4 years there. Mm-hmm. I ended up working my way down in the point system to a low security inmate.
Okay.
And I actually ended up going to fire camp. And I became an inmate firefighter for 2 years, which
wow.
Yeah, which is really cool,
Yeah.
But unfortunately, during that time, my mom passed away. Mm-hmm. And when my mom passed away, I kind of gave up on life at that time. And I started committing criminal activity even while incarcerated, and I eventually got kicked out of fire camp because I didn't know how to behave myself.
I got it.
And then I ended up in San Quentin.
Okay.
And San Quentin is, I ended up back in San Quentin.
Yeah. So in San Quentin has a reputation of being a very challenging environment to live in. Is that correct, or?
No, actually not anymore.
Okay.
Right? San Quentin has changed a lot. When I was there in San Quentin, honestly, it was a fork in the road for me.
Okay.
Right? Because San Quentin, there's two things in San Quentin that I saw. One, San Quentin had the most drugs I've ever seen, which made it difficult for me to stay out of trouble initially, because I still hadn't changed my mindset.
Sure.
But San Quentin also, because it has the largest population of people doing life sentences, it has the most programs, the most opportunities for growth.
Definitely.
And so eventually, when I chose to change my life, and I dove into those programs, it really helped me change my persona and change who I am to make me the person I am today.
Absolutely. Now, would you say that more so, San Quentin more so than what you know of Susanville or maybe other facilities of incarceration that you may have been stayed at, there's more opportunity just because they've got so many programs?
Yes. Yeah, so they have a lot of programs in San Quentin.
Right.
And that's because they have a lot of people that are doing life sentences. So they want to give them as many opportunities to change their lives with the possibility of maybe getting out one day.
Definitely, definitely. Well, that's good. What is something surprising that the viewers might not know about being incarcerated?
That most people that are incarcerated are not bad people. They've just made some stupid choices.
Okay.
Right? And honestly, during my time incarcerated, I realized that some of the smartest people I've ever met were locked up. They just used their smarts in negative manners.
I got it.
Right? And so even for myself, like once I figured out I'm not as dumb as I thought I was just doing a lot of dumb things.
Sure.
And I switched that mindset and started using my mentality and the things I was using to commit criminal activity to start committing positive activity.
Right.
I've been able to shift my entire life and do some epic things.
Right. And what, for you, Paul, do you know, was there sort of one person, one moment where you can sort of point to the beginning of that shift for you?
So I'd say it was a slow shift at first. Over time, I would see certain things or make certain changes in my life in order to just grow as a human being. But what ended up happening, so here in California, when you get sentenced to a specific amount of time, you do a percentage of it. So I was sentenced to 10 years in prison. I did 6 months in the county jail, which didn't count, so that was dead time. And then I was supposed to do 8.5 on top of that. So I should have done 9 years.
Right.
Okay? But because I wasn't behaving myself while I was in there,
sure,
right,
you got more time.
I had extended my time. I had extended my vacation. Right?
Exactly.
And so August 1st, 2017, I was supposed to get out, and I wasn't getting out no more. And at that point, I'd actually extended my stay for an extra 1.5 years.
Okay.
Okay. So August 1st, 2017. Now, during that time, from August 1st, 2017 to August 30th, 2017, that month of August is when I slowly started crawling myself out of the hole.
Okay.
Right? And so August 30th, 2017, I actually have it tattooed right here on my arm, is the day I made a conscious decision to completely change the direction of my life. And I walked up to this guy that I knew in the prison yard, and I talk about him. Any podcast, any show I am on, I always talk about him. His name is Fernando. Hopefully he ends up watching this. Fernando, I love you, bro. Fernando and I didn't get along.
Okay.
And the reason we didn't get along, I've done a lot of internal work. I've done a lot of what they call shadow work on myself.
Yep.
Right? And I realized the reason why I didn't get along with Fernando is because I was jealous of him.
Okay.
Fernando went to school, he went to church, he did a construction class, he didn't smoke weed, I never seen him get no fist fights.
Yeah.
He did all the opposite things that I was doing.
Exactly.
So when I walked up to Fernando on August 30th, 2017 and said, Fernando, I need help. He said, I got you, man. And I just started following Fernando, right?
Cool.
One of my favorite sayings is, success leaves clues.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Success leaves clues. And so I saw him being successful, and so he was leaving clues. And I started doing what Fernando did, and by doing what Fernando did, I was able to shift my life.
That's awesome, Paul. That really is. It's always good to hear that. I think we all have to be open to our ability to change. Change is never easy.
Absolutely.
I know that as a mental health provider, I talk to my clients all the time about trying to get change and tell them it takes time. If you, because you are really into exercise, right? It takes time for us to develop a habit of exercise. It takes time for us to start to change our body to build muscle, to transform the way our body is shaped and how it reacts to exercise. So I'm sure you have your clients who come in and are like, Coach Paul, I've been here for a week and I'm not seeing any difference. And you're like, well, yeah. I mean, you didn't get to where you were overnight. You're not going to get to where you want to be. So that's cool, that change of, and recognizing, and maybe it's more you recognize now because you get to look back and go, I was jealous.
Yeah. It's really because I've done the work on it.
Right.
That's what it really boils down to, is I've taken the time, the effort, the energy it takes to look back on those things and say, okay, why did I react or respond to these situations in my life the specific way that I did? And how can I fix this part of me that made me react that way, so in the future I don't have the same mentality?
Right. And like anything, when we make change, if we have tools in our toolbox that go, I know if this comes up, here are my tools to use, the techniques I can use to go, I don't want to do that.
Exactly.
I'm not going to make that choice. Now, one thing that we hear a lot of is about recidivism. Mm-hmm. Someone's in jail, they get out. Unfortunately, a high percentage of people end up back. Yeah. They repeat their offenses or whatever. For you, after, August 30th, 2017, when you got out, were you pretty confident that you had enough tools not to make some of those same, I believe you said, stupid mistakes?
This time, yes.
Yeah.
But in reality, I was a part of that statistic for a very long time.
Sure.
Mind you, because the first time I ever got arrested and locked up, I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in and out of juvenile hall, I was in boys' homes.
Yeah.
Then I went to jail multiple times, then I went to prison the first time,
right.
Got out, went to prison a second time.
Sure.
My consequences just kept getting worse.
Yep.
Right? And so as I saw the consequences getting worse, I realized that if I don't stop the path I'm going down,
yep.
I was either going to die in the streets or do the rest of my life in prison. Those were
yep.
the next options for me.
Definitely.
Right? And so August 30th, 2017, I made this conscious decision I would change my life. And I spent the next year still incarcerated, working on myself and building up those tools.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
So when I walked out, I got out of prison August 25th, 2018. Mm-hmm. So almost exactly a year later, I got out.
Got it.
And I spent that whole last year diving deeper into myself to make sure that I had every tool possible
sure.
that I could acquire to make sure that I did not become that statistic once again.
Absolutely. And what was it and what is it about exercise that helped transform your life?
Absolutely. I love that question because that's literally what I just did my TEDx talk in Florida about. And I talked about, it's about discipline. Mm-hmm. That's what it really boils down to. Because the discipline I've created through exercise is also the discipline I've created through other areas of my life. Mm-hmm. Parenting, my business, when I was in school, anything I was doing that was positive, as long as I remained disciplined behind it and I put in the effort. Because a lot of people think, I can't exercise because I'm not motivated. Mm-hmm. I'm not motivated to exercise all the time either.
Yeah.
I just know that today is Monday, it's chest day, or it's Tuesday, yeah. It's leg day. I just know that that's what I'm going to go do in the gym that day.
Absolutely. And, I talk about structure, and I know my listeners who all the time I talk about my marathoning, but I'll bring it up with you yeah. and just talk about that discipline. Even though I was running at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And it's dark and it's cold and possibly rainy. Mm-hmm. But I still got out there because I always felt better if I got out and did my exercise.
Yeah.
Even if the experience of doing it was a terrible run, I was just freezing, I was sore, I was whatever. I didn't regret a day I went out for a run. You don't regret a day, even if you're like, oh man, I can't believe I got to do chest. You go out and you do it. You're not like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that, right?
Right, never.
And part of that is structure. Structure, I talk about in my book, is so important because it helps. First of all, it makes our life so much easier. Mm-hmm. In your business, you set up, here's what I got to do today. so much easier to execute than just going, well, here's 15 things I got to do. I'm not sure which one I'm doing. You find out that you actually get very few, if any, done because you're just sort of thinking about starting.
Yeah.
Versus, here's the structure, here's what I have to do. Prison life is very structured.
Very structured, yes.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It helps everyone understand what to expect and when to expect things. The problem is when you get out, you got to learn how to build that structure. And people who've been incarcerated for a long period of time sometimes find that they don't know. It's hard and it's confusing. I have watched Shawshank Redemption numerous times, but I think there's some real truths in there, like where anyway, they get out and they're like, I've been institutionalized. I don't know how to do anything because I've been told here's what I got to do every hour of the day, and now I'm on my own. Did you find that you kind of had that when you got out, or had you built enough structure and understood how to build structure that you didn't find that you were sort of like, now what?
I feel like I did have that when I first got out, and I feel like I still have it at times now. But what I found is I've been able to take that idea of structure and implement it into my life. I'm very oriented with my calendar. Everything goes in my calendar, even as far as what time I wake my kids up,
Sure.
what days I'm responsible for getting them ready versus my girlfriend's responsibility to get them ready. All of that is scheduled and structured into my life and into my calendar. But what makes it difficult is I've become so structured because of all those years of incarceration that other people don't follow my structure, and that can cause frustration.
Okay.
Right? And so now that's been an area that I've really been able to work on as well and understand. Like for me, my structure is not going to be the same structure as my kids.
Absolutely.
Right? They're 8 and 10. They're not going to follow the perfect structure that I have in my head.
Sure.
So I've been able to find that balance between being structured when I need to be, but also being able to be a little bit more flexible when necessary.
Absolutely. And yeah, of course, flexibility is, we all have plans.
Yeah.
Sometimes life just gets in the way.
For sure.
Or other things, Mother Nature sometimes gets in the way. Oh, I really want to get out and do that bike ride. Oh, but it's monsoonal rain. Yeah, I could do it, but that's probably not the safest choice for me. You know, you might want to do a workout, but you recognize through your years of exercise things that are, I need to rest, right? Maybe you went for a walk around Lake Chabot or something, and you find that maybe your calf has got a bit of a strain. It's not I worked out and it's just a little sore. It's, I need to let that rest, so I can't do calf workouts. I can't, because it's just going to hurt me. Right? That's all life experience. So what are you teaching people about with exercise on how to change their life?
Absolutely, great question. So I'm teaching people a combination. First off, I'm teaching people the exact opposite of what most of society has told them actually works.
Okay.
Right? Because a lot of people think it's excessive cardio and starving yourself to lose weight, right? I work predominantly with women. Most of them are moms. They've done every fad diet in the world. They've done all the cardio classes, all the spin classes, the Peloton, all these things, when in reality, they need to build lean muscle in order to increase their metabolism so they can actually eat more food and fuel their body and enjoy the process. Plus, I'm teaching them a more balanced approach where they're able to enjoy life with their kids. One of the big things we implement into our coaching structure is what we call a self-love meal. Right? A self-love meal is what we would call a cheat meal.
Okay.
Right? Just don't use the term cheat meal because cheat is so negative.
Like very, very negative.
Going out with your husband or your wife for dinner, we were just talking about date night, right?
Yeah.
Going out for date night shouldn't be a cheat meal. You shouldn't be with someone you love and you're cheating. Like that's not ideal. It's self-love. You're spending time. So that's one thing I really implement with our members and my clients is showing them how to find that balance between being on track with their nutrition, losing weight, building muscle at the same time, but also being able to enjoy life. Because Nobody wants to be in a fitness journey or working on themselves if it's not enjoyable.
Absolutely.
And it goes back to what you're mentioning about, like, it doesn't happen overnight. Of course it's not gonna happen. You can definitely lose a bunch of weight in the next month. Starve yourself. Just don't eat. You're gonna lose weight, but is that fun? Is that sustainable? Is that healthy?
But you're gonna gain the weight the second you start to eat again.
Exactly, right?
So,
but if I can teach them how to lose it sustainably over a certain amount of time, then they can lose the weight, right? And still enjoy their lives, and now I don't have to gain it all back because I'm so, frustrated behind it.
absolutely. I know I've been on a few weight loss journeys on my own, and like things that for me made it easier, and any tough task, have some milestones.
Yeah.
So with weight loss, when I lose this weight, here's my reward for hitting that goal. I have to go buy new clothes. That's unbelievably motivating to say, I get to go buy a smaller size.
Yeah.
Maybe I know for me, I went on a weight loss journey, and one of the things I wanted to do was go do that I-Fly indoor skydiving, right?
Okay.
And when I started off, I was just under what the maximum weight was. So I didn't show up to it because I'm like, I don't want to step on their scale and find out that I'm too big to do this. My ego couldn't take it. But on my journey, I lost weight. I'm like, now I can show up and know for sure I can do it. Such a reward knowing that that's what I was working for. And I think any epic journey, if we have these milestones, I get this when I do it. The self-love meal, right?
Yeah.
If I follow my nutritional plan, on Saturday, I get to go have my favorite food. I'm not going to go like bananas, but I'm still going to really enjoy it and know that I'm okay. And if you do that, I also found if I try to deny myself something that I really love, let's say, I don't know, potato chips, okay? I don't need to eat a whole lot, but if I have one or two, you want to know what? I have the taste in I've had it. Oh, that was good. I don't need any more, but I had the taste versus not going to have any potato chips, and then if I break down, I just ate, a half a bag or a full bag of potato chips. How do you work like that kind of structure for people? Do you incorporate that, or is it slightly different?
Absolutely. So we do incorporate that. Generally what we do is we have a pretty regimented 6-week challenge that we start with. And during those 6 weeks, we help you put your body in a fat burning state. Ideally, once we've turned the body into a fat burning machine, you can potentially eat whatever you want in moderation in order to see the results you're looking for. So what I find is most of the people that come to me, the conversation I have when I ask them, what does your nutrition look like? Most, like I said, I work with a lot of moms. Most moms don't eat enough until they finally eat too much, right? And so their body doesn't understand what's going on. Like, oh, you've been starving me all day long, and then at 6 o'clock at night, you ate 2,000 calories in one sitting, right? Which is crazy. If you ate 1,800 calories throughout the entire day, you'd be full all day long, and you wouldn't overeat. And you can still add those potato chips because you've been eating high protein meals throughout the day. You're not super starving, so when you eat those couple pieces of potato chips or whatever, you don't want to eat the whole bag.
Absolutely.
Right? Because usually it's the fact that we're famished that we end up eating the whole bag, and then the whole bag ends up being more calories than we would have eaten if we ate a full meal.
Definitely. And I have to say, I for years, when I was young, I was as skinny as anything. I could eat whatever I wanted, and I kind of did. But then you get older, you find out that, your metabolism slows down, your level of activity. I was working in the corporate world, I was sitting at a desk. I was exercising, but it was not the same as when I was in high school and college where I was playing team sports and I was, 2-3 hours a day and just with my friends running around. You know how that is. You're just unbelievably, efficient fat-burning machines. You're just burning up calories. And so but for me, the big thing was trying to wrap my head around, still, I gotta say, working on feeling satiated, right? Because I was used to eating, I'm like, oh my God, I can't eat another bite. And we gotta change that as we get older, and as I'm getting older, I'm like, I can't do that. I can, but it's not, all I'm going to do is get fatter. I'm going to put on weight, which I don't want to do. So how do you help people with that like concept and the mental concept of satiation? I feel satiated.
Protein. You see my shirt says peace, love, and protein, right? I promote protein because in reality, if you're eating enough protein, you're gonna feel full.
Sure.
Right? Like you can't sit down and eat, 1,000 calories worth of chicken and not feel completely stuffed.
Absolutely.
But most people are not consuming enough protein, right? And not that carbs are bad. I love carbs, and I push, my clients are surprised when I tell them to eat carbs, right? But it has to be the right balance.
Absolutely.
And if you're prioritizing more protein, you're gonna feel more satiated. But also one thing I really like to do is, we were talking before the show about how I'm pretty active on my social media. And I do a lot of healthy swaps. So I do a lot of recipe videos and things like that with healthy swaps. So like this week, I made high protein French toast bowls that I'll be posting later on this week to talk about, right? Everyone thinks, oh, you can't eat French toast, you're gonna gain a bunch of weight. My French toast bowls are 300 calories for 40 grams of protein. That's a really good ratio right there.
Really.
And they're delicious too, I actually ate one before I came here.
There you go.
And so by teaching my clients how to eat the foods they love in moderation, but also eat the foods they love and make some healthy, simple swaps that they might not have even known about or thought about, we can help them feel satiated, we can increase their protein, and we can also help them feel like they're not really on a health or weight loss journey. They're just living life in a healthier manner.
Right. And it's, again, diet, whatever, just indicates that it's a short-term thing. And really, you're trying to help promote a lifestyle change, that it's just something this is how I eat now. So how do you, Paul, maintain that? Because again, there's all kinds of temptations. We all have the things that we know that we shouldn't eat, but we're like, oh my God, I really love that,
So it really depends, right? I think it's finding that combination between allowing yourself to have those meals that are outside of what you might completely, on your meal plan, or whatever, right? But then also finding those swaps. Like I really love pizza. So I've learned multiple different ways to make healthier pizza options.
Sure.
That doesn't mean once in a blue moon, I'm not gonna go eat some pizza.
Of course.
Right? But if 90% of the time, or even 80% of the time, I'm eating in a healthy realm of calories and macros and everything falls in line, and then I do eat a little bit of pizza on date night or something like that, it's not going to throw me off to where I'm going to gain a bunch of weight.
Absolutely.
Right? But the mistake most people make is they want to eat these things consistently. Right? And it also boils down to, like you talked about earlier, structure. And I love that word, structure, right? Because when we teach our members about self-love meals, right? They're intentional. It's not, oh, it's Friday, I'm going to go have some drinks and some chicken wings. Oh, it's Saturday, we're going to go to a birthday party. Oh, it's Sunday, we're going to have brunch. It's like, no, it's like, even for me, on my calendar, Saturday nights is date night. Right? Every Saturday is date night. If we have the kids, it's a family affair. If it's just me and my girlfriend, we go out to eat, or we go see a movie, or we do something. But I know that if I eat healthy throughout the week and I'm on point with my nutrition and I eat my meal prep and I drink my water and I do all my things throughout the week, if I go a little overboard Saturday night with my self-love meal, right? It's not going to throw my numbers off, and I'm going to be good to go.
Absolutely. And then you're right back at where you need to be, and you're all good. The same way that if you happen to miss a workout, okay. I found when I was running, I had a time where I was literally training for a year, and then I took 6 weeks off. And I thought, oh my God, this is going to be so hard. I felt so good when I got back to running because I needed that rest. I was doing some other stuff, but I just wasn't hitting so hard. And that rejuvenation was incredible. And actually my running got a little better. I think just because I was able to heal all the micro tears I had, and I needed to rest. I needed to not be up at 5 every morning running and stuff like that. Paul, this is fascinating. You and I could talk for hours about all of this. Sadly, our time is up, but I wanted to, how could people get a hold of you? Where can they find you?
Absolutely. So the best place to find me would be Instagram at @the_coach_Paul. So that's THE. There's not a second E there. It's not the Bible, but I'm the Coach Paul. Instagram, TikTok, or Paul Casey on Facebook. Not a lot of people use Facebook, but Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube are all the_coach_Paul.
Awesome. I want to thank you so much for coming in and sharing all your fabulous knowledge, and also for sharing your story. It's so important to see that change is possible no matter where you are in your life.
Thank you as well.
You bet. I want to remind everyone that if you're ready to begin your epic journey, go to epicbegins.com. And as always, remember that epic choices lead to the epic life that you want.